From Carnegie Studios in Longmont, Colorado, it's Puppet News. Good evening. I'm Herman Hansen.
And I'm Aranda Lurer. And this is Puppet News. Here are tonight's stories.
In South Korea, schools were shuttered, churches told worshippers to stay away, and some mass gatherings were banned as cases of a new virus swelled Friday in South Korea, the newest front in a widening global outbreak. The country said 2 people have died and 204 have been infected with the virus, quadruple the number of cases it had 2 days earlier, as a crisis centered in China has begun strongly reverberating elsewhere. The multiplying caseload in South Korea showed the ease with which the illness can spread. Though initial infections were linked to China, new ones have not involved international travel. We have entered an emergency phase, Prime Minister Chung Se-kyun said in a television comment at the start of a government meeting on the health emergency. Our efforts until now had been focused on blocking the illness from entering the country, but we will now shift the focus on preventing the illness from spreading further in local communities. Sorry about that. Daegu, a southeastern city of 2.5 million that is the country's 4th largest, emerged as the focus of government efforts to contain the disease known as COVID-19, and Chung promised support to ease a shortage in hospital beds, medical personnel, and equipment. Mayor Kwang Yong-jin of Daegu has urged residents to stay inside, even wearing masks at home to stem further infection.
On Sunday, February 9, 2020, activists across Longmont, Colorado participated in a period-making event at the Grossenbart Brewery. The volunteer-led initiative, which began in 2019, aims to gift a 90-day supply of period products to people experiencing homelessness, unstable housing, and extreme poverty. Each period kit includes 40 tampons, 20 pads, 20 liners, 1 pack of personal wipes, and 6 panties. All period kits go back to the community. Those created at the brewery were donated to Longmont's Hour Center. The nonprofit has a simple but straightforward slogan. It's about dignity and health, period. According to Ambrosia Pardue-Lee, a volunteer who helped organize the event on Sunday, it's a relative new effort. However, it is quickly gaining momentum. In 2019, 1,300 kits were built and donated to various organizations. This year, period kits aim to build and donate 2,020. However, hosts and volunteers are desperately needed, according to Pardue-Lee. No one should have to choose between food and tampons, says the initiative's website. If you agree and would like to support the local effort, visit periodkits.org to learn more.
Democratic voters generally feel positive about all their top candidates running for president, but they have only moderate confidence that their party's nomination process is fair, according to a new poll by the Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs Research. U.S. voters from across the political spectrum have mixed confidence in the fairness of either party system for picking a candidate, but Democrats are especially likely to have doubts about their own party's process. Among Democratic voters, 41% say they have a great deal or quite a bit of confidence in the Democratic Party's nomination process, while 34% have moderate confidence and 25% have little to no confidence. Among Republicans, meanwhile, 61% say they have high confidence in their party's process, and just 13% have low confidence. President Donald Trump has only nominal opposition in the GOP nomination process, and several state Republican parties have even canceled holding a primary. For Democrats, the results reveal early signs of fallout from what's shaping into a contentious and divisive primary, and sharpen focus on the prospect that the nominee may be chosen in a messy vote at a brokered convention. The anxieties have been exacerbated by a breakdown in the vote count in the kickoff Iowa caucus, an outcome Nevada officials are working to avoid in their caucus Saturday.
Crews working on the sidewalk repairs on the east side of the Longmont Public Library have uncovered additional problems that require the area to remain closed to the public for an additional week. The library's entrance and parking lot off Emory Street was scheduled to be closed from February 10th through 21st, with all public access diverted through the Kembark Street entrance. During this closure, the library's parking lot, exterior book drops, and outside elevators serving the underground parking garage will also be closed. Understanding that some patrons exclusively use the book drops to return books, the library will be waiving overdue fines on materials due during this period but returned late. Library staff apologizes for the inconvenience these closures will likely have on some patrons.
Players on the U.S. women's national team are seeking more than $66 million in damages as part of their gender discrimination lawsuit against the U.S. Soccer Federation. The damages were included in a slew of papers filed Thursday night in U.S. District Court in Los Angeles ahead of a trial scheduled to start May 5. Among the documents filed were the separate collective bargaining agreements of the U.S. men's and women's teams, which had not previously been made public. Players on the women's national team sued the Federation last March, alleging institutionalized gender discrimination that includes inequitable compensation between the men's and women's teams. Each side in the class action lawsuit asked for summary judgment in their favor. The estimate of damage, including interest, was provided by Finney Bevan Cook, an economist from the Dieter Consulting Group, which was retained by the suing players. The collective bargaining agreement showed a disparity in bonuses, but also highlighted the different pay structures between the two teams.
The City of Longmont has contracted with Asphalt Specialties Co., Inc. to construct safety and multimodal improvements on Pike Road between South Main Street, US 287, and South Sunset Street. Construction is scheduled to begin in early March and is expected to be completed in October, weather permitting. The planning improvements are in alignment. The planned improvements are in alignment with multiple guiding principles of the Envision Longmont Multimodal and Comprehensive Plan. The project will include minor widening of Pike Road to support the addition of on-street bike lanes. Asphalt and concrete pavement repairs will be completed to rehabilitate the aging pavement infrastructure and improve road surface conditions. The intersection of South Pratt Parkway at Pike Road will be reconstructed to eliminate the skew approach so vehicles approaching Pike Road will enter the intersection at more of a perpendicular angle. Left lanes will be installed on Pike Road at South Kaufman Street to allow for through traffic to pass safely by turning traffic, and a new traffic signal will be installed at South Kaufman Street. A second westbound travel lane will be added to Pike Road from South Main Street to South Kaufman Street to accommodate a new left turn lane being added by the Colorado Department of Transportation on northbound US 287 at Pike Road. Various traffic calming features will be added to promote vehicle adherence to post speed limits, such as raised medians, radar speed display signs, and reduced travel lane widths. A detached sidewalk and pedestrian refuge islands will provide safer pedestrian crossing of Pike Road from cross streets. Construction will be phased to limit vehicle impacts as much as practical, but delays should be expected. No full road closures are anticipated at this time. However, there will be regular closures of either the east or westbound lanes due to the narrow pavement width of Pike Road. During those times, only one lane of traffic in one direction will be allowed to pass. Detour signs will direct vehicles traveling in the opposite direction to alternate routes as necessary. The public is encouraged to check the project website for updates on any anticipated closures and detours.
Somewhere in the southern Santa Cruz Mountains of California, a coyote playfully bows to an American badger just before both duck into a culvert. Is that three animals?
Quack.
Does the duck count?
Quack.
How does one count a duck? Anyway, somewhere in the southern Santa Cruz Mountains of California, a coyote playfully bows to an American badger. See, badger is also a verb. But coyote is not. We have two noun verb words and only one that is just, you cannot coyote unless you're talking, maybe that's the act of taking human contraband across the southern border of the United States. You coyote some immigrants and you duck from the badger who's been badgering the coyote for mistreating, I'm sorry, the director is getting testy. So, all right, back to the story. Somewhere in the southern Santa Cruz Mountains of California, a coyote playfully bows to an American badger just before both duck into a culvert under a highway, the coyote casually trotting along with the badger waddling close behind. Just to be clear, the duck was not, it's the coyote waddling, or the badger, not the duck waddling. Did you write this story? When the Peninsula Open Space Trust and Pathways for Wildlife shared a remote video of the crossing online in early February, it went viral. The video is part of the project to help wild animals move around safely in high-traffic, dangerous areas, something critical to maintaining populations' genetic health. I greatly admire this work. However, what makes this particular crossing exceptional to me as a behavioral ecologist are the deeper implications of the video itself. Whose voice am I reading in right now? Was this an editorial piece?
No.
Oh.
This is something Scott found off the internet.
The thing that excites me, whoever me is, maybe it's a duck, maybe it's a coyote, maybe it's virus. Is virus alive? Who knows? The thing that excites me, though, is that it allows the charisma of this partnership to reach a broad audience. You could say the same thing about Longmont Public Media. Just saying. Scientists have observed coyotes and badgers working together before. One study even demonstrated that both species have an easier time catching prey when they hunt together. But the more the general public sees the playful social side of the two extremely persecuted carnivores, the better. I will never stop sharing videos of coyotes playing with dog toys or domestic animal companions or scaling crabapple trees for a snack. Crab is also an adjective. So the second thing that excites me is what the video means for animal research, management, and behavioral ecology. There isn't a consistent natural rule that coyotes and badgers get along. In fact, the two species sometimes kill and eat one another. Ew. This demonstrates the flexibility in natural processes. Humans, many scientists included, are often guilty of thinking animal behavior must follow hard and fast rules. Stimulus A elicits behavior B always. I can see this a lot when people ask me about canine behavior or crow calls. A wagging tail doesn't always indicate a happy dog, for instance. And certain crow calls mean very different things in different circumstances, much the way the intention behind a human's use of the word hey varies with tone, inflection, and context. If you want to know about hey, ask a horse. He might have his own, or she, or it. Are there gender fluid horses? Experiments and rules that eliminate context often end up framing animal behavior and ecological associations as coded, robotic, and inflexible. People tend to think of animal actions as simply instinct, denying the role of thinking, plasticity, and decision-making in other creatures' lives. Scientifically, we are finally emerging from a dark period of studying nature as simply as a stimulus and instinct-driven movie that humans can observe, the kind of thinking used to justify government-funded calls and mass indiscriminate killing of native species. Recent research demonstrates the cognitive and cultural capabilities of non-human animals, as well as the importance of their proclivities and personalities, and more data keep piling up.
In crime in Longmont, on February 19th, officers responded to the 1800 block of Terry Street in reference to an assault call for service. Suspect was a 22-year-old male, and the case is open. On Wednesday, February 19th, officers responded to the 1400 block of Emery Street. Reference was a trespass. A male was arrested on a warrant and transported to jail. The case was cleared by arrest. Also, on February 19th, an adult male was visiting relatives in the 500 block of St. Andrews Drive and was bitten by their cat. The cat was placed on home quarantine. On Tuesday, February 18th, 2020, Longmont officers responded to the 600 block of Peck to locate a wanted party. Case is open. On February 18th, officers responded to the 2000 block of Collier Street, referencing a disturbance involving an adult male. The case is cleared by arrest. On Wednesday, February 19th, at approximately 6:49 a.m., Walmart police responded to a disturbance in the 2000 block of Pike Road. Following an investigation, an adult male was taken into protective custody without incident.
Intelligence officials have warned lawmakers that Russia is interfering in the 2020 election campaign to help President Donald Trump get reelected, according to 3 officials familiar with the closed-door briefing. Trump pushed back Friday, accusing Democrats of launching a disinformation campaign. Another misinformation campaign is being launched by Democrats in Congress, saying that Russia prefers me to any of the do-nothing Democrat candidates who still have been unable to, after 2 weeks, count their votes in Iowa. Hoax number 7, Trump tweeted. The officials who asked for anonymity to discuss sensitive intelligence said Thursday that the briefing last week focused on Russia's efforts to influence the 2020 election and sow discord in the American electorate. The intelligence warning was first reported by the New York Times and the Washington Post. A senior administration official told the Associated Press that the news infuriated Trump, who complained that the Democrats would use the information against him. Over the course of his presidency, Trump has dismissed the intelligence community's assessment of Russia's 2016 election interference as a conspiracy to undermine his victory. The official spoke on the condition of anonymity to describe the private meeting.
Data on youth vaping prompted U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams to warn in late 2018 that it is an epidemic. Nationwide, 5 million middle and high school students use e-cigarettes, with 1 million vaping daily. From 2017 to 2019, vaping more than doubling among 8th, 10th, and 12th grade students. Colorado has the highest surveyed rate of teen vaping at twice the national average, 26% versus 13%. For those using in the last 30 days, and 44% of Colorado teens having tried vaping. That's why UC Health's Healthy Hearts program works to educate the public about vaping in partnership with other local organizations.
And that's all we have time for. For Puppet News, I'm Hanson Herman.
And I'm Aranda Lerner.
Thanks for watching.
Good night.